You are exactly where you are today because of every choice you have made up to this moment. Not because of your circumstances, not because of what others did to you, not because of the economy, your background, or your education. You are here because of your choices, and that means you have the power to be somewhere else tomorrow. Every single day you face a fundamental decision that determines the entire trajectory of your life. You can choose to act from a place of fear, or you can choose to act from a place of faith in your own capabilities. Most people never realize they're making this choice. They think fear is something that happens to them, like weather or traffic. But fear is not a visitor that arrives uninvited. Fear is a decision you make, often without knowing you're making it. Let me tell you about a man who understood this principle. He was 28 years old, working a job that barely paid his bills, living in a small apartment with his wife and young child. Every morning, he woke up with a knot in his stomach. He was afraid of his boss, afraid of losing his job, afraid of not providing for his family. His fear was so constant it felt normal, like breathing. One Tuesday morning, something shifted. He was sitting in his car before walking into work, and he asked himself a simple question: what if I stopped being afraid of this job and started being afraid of staying the same? That single question changed everything, not because it magically removed his fear, but because it helped him understand that he had been choosing the wrong fear. He had been more afraid of uncertainty than he was of certainty that led nowhere. Within 6 months, he had started his own business. Within 2 years, he was earning more in a month than he had previously earned in a year. The circumstances hadn't changed him. His decision about which fear to embrace had changed his circumstances. Right now, as you sit here, you are choosing your fears. You are deciding what to be afraid of. The question is not whether you will experience fear. The question is whether you will choose fears that keep you small or fears that make you grow. Are you more afraid of failing or more afraid of never trying? Are you more afraid of what people might think or more afraid of what you'll think of yourself if you don't act? The person who conquers fear doesn't eliminate it. They redirect it. They become more afraid of remaining the same than they are of change. They become more afraid of mediocrity than they are of the work required for excellence. They understand that fear is energy, and energy can be channeled toward creation or destruction. The choice is always yours. Your success in life will not come from your circumstances improve. Your success will come from you improving within your circumstances. This is the fundamental law that governs all human achievement. Yet most people spend their entire lives waiting for their situation to change instead of developing themselves to match their ambition. Think of a farmer who looks at his barren field and complains about the soil. He can criticize the earth, blame the weather, and curse the conditions, but none of this activity will produce a harvest. The farmer who succeeds doesn't wait for perfect conditions. He improves the soil, plants the seeds, and tends to the crop regardless of the challenges. He knows that the field will only give him what he puts into it, multiplied by his consistency and faith in the process. Your life operates on the same principle. You cannot have a better life by wanting it, wishing for it, or waiting for it. You can only have a better life by becoming the person who lives that life. Every morning, you have a choice. You can work on your circumstances, or you can work on yourself. Working on circumstances is the slow path to frustration. Working on yourself is the fast path to transformation. Consider the daily habits that seem insignificant in the moment but compound into extraordinary results over time. The person who reads for 30 minutes each day will read approximately 200 books in 10 years. The person who saves $50 each week will have accumulated over $25,000 in 10 years. The person who walks for 20 minutes each day will walk over 1,000 miles in a year. Small actions, consistently applied, create results that seem impossible to those who think in terms of single efforts. But here's what most people miss. The compound effect works both ways. Small negative habits compound into devastating consequences, just as surely as positive habits compound into magnificent results. The person who watches television for 3 hours each night will spend over 10,000 hours in 10 years, enough time to master any skill. The person who spends 30 minutes each day complaining will spend over 180 hours each year, reinforcing negative thinking patterns. Your daily choices are not neutral. They are either building the life you want or building the life you don't want. There is no middle ground. Every moment you spend developing yourself, you are moving away from fear and toward confidence. Every moment you spend in distraction or complaint, you are moving away from your potential and toward mediocrity. The question you must ask yourself is not whether you have time to develop yourself. The question is whether you have time not to develop yourself. Can you afford to remain where you are? Can you afford to keep the same fears, the same limitations, the same results? The price of staying the same is always higher than the price of growth, because staying the same costs you your potential. Your growth is not separate from your circumstances. Your growth changes your circumstances. When you become more skilled, you create more value. When you create more value, you attract more opportunities. When you attract more opportunities, you have more choices. When you have more choices, you have more freedom. When you have more freedom, you have less fear. This is the cycle of progress, and it begins with a single decision to prioritize your development over your comfort. Life operates in predictable patterns, and understanding these patterns gives you tremendous power over your results. Just as seasons follow each other in nature, your life moves through seasons of planting, growing, harvesting, and preparing. Most people fail because they try to harvest when they should be planting, or they give up during the growing season because they cannot yet see the result. Every challenge you face is part of a larger pattern. Difficulties are not random events that happen to you. They are the natural testing periods that determine whether you are ready for the next level of your development. When you understand this, you stop seeing problems as interruptions and start seeing them as invitations to prove your readiness for greater success. The person who conquers fear learns to recognize these patterns and respond appropriately. When faced with a challenge, they ask themselves, what is this situation trying to teach me, and how can I use this experience to become stronger? They understand that every obstacle contains an opportunity, and every setback contains a setup for a comeback. Opportunities follow the same pattern as challenges. They come in seasons, and they always come disguised as work. The person who is prepared recognizes opportunity when it appears, and acts immediately. The person who is unprepared sees the same opportunity and focuses on the work required instead of the potential results. Your ability to handle challenges and seize opportunities depends entirely on your mental preparation. You cannot develop courage in the moment you need. You cannot develop skills in the moment you need them. You cannot develop character in the moment you need it. These qualities must be developed in advance, during the quiet seasons when nothing exciting is happening. This is why successful people appear to be lucky. They are not. They are prepared. They have spent time developing themselves when others were being entertained. They have strengthened their minds when others were avoiding discomfort. They have practiced their skills when others were making excuses. When opportunity arrives, they are ready to act, while others are still getting ready to get ready. The key to maximizing opportunities is to understand that they are always bigger than they appear at first glance. Every opportunity is connected to other opportunity. Every skill you develop makes you more valuable in multiple areas. Every relationship you build opens doors to other relationships. Every challenge you overcome makes you stronger for future challenges. But you must act on opportunities when they appear, not when you feel ready. You will never feel ready. Readiness is not a feeling. Readiness is a decision. You become ready by deciding to be ready and then acting in accordance with that decision. The person who waits to feel ready will wait forever, because confidence comes from action, not from preparation. Your response to challenges and opportunities creates your reputation with life itself. When you respond to difficulties with growth instead of complaint, life sends you bigger challenges that contain bigger opportunity. When you respond to opportunities with action instead of hesitation, life sends you bigger opportunities that contain bigger rewards. This is not metaphysics. This is practical cause and effect. The pattern is simple. Prepare yourself, recognize the season, and respond appropriately. When challenges come, grow. When opportunities come, act. When quiet seasons come, develop. When harvest seasons come, enjoy the results, while preparing for the next cycle. This understanding removes the mystery from success, and makes it a predictable outcome of right thinking and right action. Most people sabotage their own success through patterns of thinking and behaving that guarantee mediocrity. They make excuses instead of progress. They procrastinate instead of acting. They blame others instead of taking responsibility. These behaviors feel protective in the moment, but they are actually the most dangerous things you can do to your future. Excuses are the enemy of results. Every excuse you make is a choice to stay where you are instead of moving toward where you want to be. The person who says I don't have time is really saying I don't want to make time. The person who says I don't have money is really saying I don't want to find a way to get money. The person who says I don't know how is really saying I don't want to learn how. The mentality of mediocrity always looks for reasons why things cannot be done. The mentality of success always looks for ways to make things happen. When faced with an obstacle, the mediocre person asks, why me? The successful person asks, how can I use? When faced with an opportunity, the mediocre person asks, what if I fail? The successful person asks, what if I succeed? Procrastination is fear disguised as strategy. When you procrastinate, you are not being careful or thoughtful. You are being afraid. You are afraid of the work, afraid of the result, or afraid of the responsibility that comes with action. But procrastination does not eliminate fear. It multiplies fear. The longer you wait to act, the more frightening the action becomes. The cure for procrastination is not motivation. The cure for procrastination is action. You do not need to feel like doing something to do it. You need to do it to feel like doing it. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. The person who waits for motivation will wait forever. The person who acts despite lacking motivation will soon find themselves motivated by their own progress. Blame is the abdication of power. When you blame others for your circumstances, you are giving them control over your result. You are saying that your success depends on their actions, their approval, or their cooperation. This is not only false, it is dangerous. It makes you a victim of other people's choices instead of the creator of your own destiny. The moment you stop blaming others and start taking complete responsibility for your life, you reclaim your power. You stop being affected by what others do and start being effective in what you do. You stop reacting to circumstances and start creating circumstances. You stop being a victim and start being a victor. Here is a simple framework for eliminating these destructive patterns. First, catch yourself in the act. The moment you notice yourself making an excuse, procrastinating, or blaming others, stop immediately. Second, ask yourself what you want to accomplish. Third, identify the next action that will move you toward that goal. Fourth, take that action immediately, regardless of how you feel about it. This process must be repeated until it becomes automatic. You cannot change decades of conditioning with a single effort. You change conditioning by consistently choosing new responses until the new responses become your natural way of thinking and acting. Every time you choose growth over comfort, action over delay, and responsibility over blame, you are rewiring your mind for success. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is not talent, education, or luck. The difference is their daily discipline. Successful people have developed habits that automatically move them toward their goals. Unsuccessful people have developed habits that automatically move them away from their goals. Success is not a destination you arrive at. Success is a way of traveling. Your daily disciplines determine your daily results. Your daily results determine your long-term outcomes. Your long-term outcomes determine your life. If you want to change your life, you must change your daily discipline. If you want to change your daily disciplines, you must change your daily choices. If you want to change your daily choices, you must change your daily focus. Start every day by focusing on what you want to accomplish, not on what you want to avoid. The mind moves toward what it focuses. If you focus on your fears, you will move toward your fears. If you focus on your goals, you will move toward your goals. This is not positive thinking. This is practical psychology. Your attention determines your action, and your action determines your result. Dedicate the first hour of every day to your own development. Read books that improve your skills. Listen to programs that strengthen your mind. Study subjects that increase your value. Exercise to improve your health. This hour is not optional. It is the foundation of everything else you will accomplish during the day. The person who invests in themselves first has energy and insight for everything else. The person who neglects themselves first has nothing to give to anything else. Set 3 specific goals for each day and accomplish them before you do anything else. These goals should be directly related to your most important long-term objectives. They should be challenging enough to require effort, but simple enough to complete in a single day. When you accomplish these goals consistently, you will make more progress in 1 year than most people make in 10 years. End every day by reviewing your progress and planning your next day. Ask yourself what you accomplished, what you learned, and what you will do tomorrow. This practice keeps you focused on forward movement instead of random activity. It helps you see patterns in your behavior and make adjustments before small problems become big problems. Surround yourself with people who are moving in the same direction you want to move. Your associations determine your aspirations. You become like the people you spend time with. If you spend time with people who make excuses, you will make excuses. If you spend time with people who take action, you will take action. Choose your companions carefully, because they are choosing your character. Practice doing what you fear most. Fear loses its power when you face it directly. The thing you are most afraid of doing is usually the thing you most need to do. Start with small acts of courage, and build your confidence systematically. Every time you act in spite of fear, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances. Remember that everything you want is on the other side of fear. Your dreams are not located in your comfort zone. Your potential is not realized through safe choices. Your destiny is not fulfilled by playing small. You must be willing to be uncomfortable today to be comfortable tomorrow. You must be willing to be afraid today to be confident tomorrow. The time to start is now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Now, today, this moment. Every moment you delay is a moment you will never get back. Every day you postpone is a day you will never relive. Every year you wait is a year you will never recover. You have everything you need to begin right now. You have a mind that can think, a body that can act, and a spirit that can endure. You have access to more information than any generation in history. You have opportunities that previous generations could not have imagined. You have no excuse for remaining where you are, if you are not satisfied with where you are. The path to conquering fear is not complicated. It is simple. It is also not easy. It requires consistent effort, daily discipline, and the willingness to be uncomfortable while you grow. But the alternative is to remain afraid, and remaining afraid is the most uncomfortable way to live. You were not born to live in fear. You were born to live in faith. Faith in your abilities, faith in your potential, faith in your capacity to overcome any challenge and achieve any goal you set for yourself. This faith is not blind optimism. This faith is based on the unchanging principle that you become what you consistently think about and act upon. Your fears are not permanent. Your limitations are not final. Your circumstances are not conclusive. You have the power to change any condition in your life. By changing your response to that condition, you have the power to create any result you desire, by developing the habits that naturally produce that result. The choice is yours. You can continue to live in fear, or you can decide to live fearlessly. You can continue to react to circumstances, or you can decide to create circumstances. You can continue to hope for change, or you can decide to be the change. Stay fearless. The world needs what you have to offer, and you need what the world has to give you. But the exchange can only happen when you step beyond your fears and into your potential. The time is now. The person is you. The choice is yours. Make